Hey everybody, it's Kenny Cummins here, chilling with Jeff and Kenny C, and I'm happy to be joined with my guest at this time, singer-songwriter, all the way from across the pond in England, Miss Liz Cirelli is joining me right now. How's it going?
Yeah, really good, Kenny. Thanks for inviting me on.
Happy to have you on, and what time is it out there in England right now, in your neck of the woods?
It's actually 5:30 p.m.
Okay, you're in the mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
We just getting into the afternoon here in the eastern part of the United States. Um, but nonetheless, let's just go ahead and get right into it. How did you get started as a singer, songwriter? How did it start off for you?
Oh, yeah. Well, wow. At this point in my career, I'm not just a singer-songwriter. I'm also a music producer, composer, and engineer. So I got into music when I was 11 years old, and it's been it's been a tumultuous love story where me and music have fallen out and not spoken to each other for a while and then fallen back in love with each other again. But yeah, I picked up my first instrument when I was 11 years old and started singing when I was 13. And that's when I kind of started writing songs as well. Um, and then I started playing the piano when I was about 15. And then I actually picked up the guitar and started to learn how to play that about 2 or 3 years ago. Um, and yeah, kind of dove into the world of learning how to become a music producer when I was about 23, 24. That's when I first started to dabble. And then I started to get really serious about that about 10 years ago. Um, and yeah, I've kind of produced albums for other people. I worked with EMI Production Music for a while and produced a couple of albums for them. Wrote a film score for an independent British film this time last year, and then last November I released my album, which I produced myself, and my mentor Gary Gray mastered it for me, and that got released on the 6th of November last year. And so, yeah, and that kind of pretty much brings us to where we are now, whereby I actually am today. I launched my first music video for the album, which has gone off on my YouTube channel, and I'll be popping up a music video every 2 weeks on my YouTube channel from now. Um, and yeah, there will be from the album tracks. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. That's my music career so far.
Sounds very satisfying considering what you've started and where you are now, and you have evolved to other phases in music, showing your versatility and you
Yeah,
being able to do more than just write songs and record them. You're doing, not only you on the scene, but you behind the scene as well, and
yeah,
just that's very appealing. And it shows that there are artists out there like yourself that can do more than just write and record.
yeah.
And you definitely have evolved in that regard. So props to you. Let's talk about the previous album that you just put out, which was last year.
Hmm.
Well, I think it's called Awakening.
Yeah, that's right.
It was released last year.
Yeah.
What was that like recording that album, and what made you decide to name it Awakening?
Cool. Well, I'll answer the second question first.
Alright.
I called it Awakening because the journey of its creation was a big awakening for me. I and during the process of me putting the album together, my mum passed away as well, which, to anyone who's lost a parent, it changes you profoundly. And I learnt, I've always kind of had fear has always held me back throughout my music career. whether it's been fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of financial scarcity. Like fear in its various different forms has held me back a lot throughout my career. And when I was putting this album together, I realized that I had a lot of fear surrounding putting it out, which was leading me to procrastinate putting it together. And so I just made the choice to blast through that fear and to overcome my obstacles. Whereas in the past, I tended to succumb to the fear and let the obstacles overcome me. And so I had a massive mindset shift throughout the process of creating this album. And the album, I was actually drawn together it contains a combination of tracks that I've made over the years with a collaboration with a violinist. I've got a long-standing collaboration with Minsky, who's an amazing violinist from London. We've been working together on and off for about 11 years. And some of the tracks on that album were made with him back in 2013, 2012. And I gave them a polish and kind of updated them a little bit to put them on Awakening. And others were newer and were made specifically for the album. And so I called it Awakening because it spans, quite a few years of my music career. It's not just something that I put together in a year. It contains a collection of tracks that kind of span from 2012, 2013 up to last year, up to 2018. And in that space of time throughout those years, I think was when I myself personally underwent periods of real intense growth and realization. And so I just felt like Awakening was the most appropriate name for the album.
I got a chance to hear a couple songs before I started chatting with you. So it's a beautiful album.
Thank you. Thank you so
very
much.
appealing. And
Thank you.
I'm always fascinated when I get to talk to someone with a British voice because the accent just sounds so elegant and everything. So that just makes me want to one day, I live here in America, I live in Kentucky. I'm
Cool.
used to the southern accents,
Yeah.
charming accents, and I feel like
Yeah.
it kind of goes hand in hand with the British accent. So
Yeah.
makes me want to go to England one day, to the UK, and
Yeah, you should.
you
You
know,
should. If you have a chance, go. London's a really fun place,
it's-
and there are parts of the UK that are really, really beautiful.
so for you, who do you consider your influences? In music, singers, songwriters, anyone particular? Who are your influences?
Yeah, I actually draw a lot of influence from like the world of classical music because that's kind of where my music training started. So I love Sound Science. I think his music's beautiful, and Eric Satie and Debussy also kind of really influenced me. Um, on a more modern level, I absolutely adore the world of electronic music. So artists like John Hopkins, Odessa, Bonobo, Moderat, um, and more recently I discovered a band called Foria, who they're classically trained musicians, but they kind of fuse the world of classical and electronic. And to me, that's where the magic happens, and you can probably hear it in the album as well. Like I draw from both worlds and just try to add a little bit of pop accessibility so that it's not too kind of out there for people to it's not too abstract. But yeah, those are probably my my main influences and the artists that I'm most fond of.
So you're definitely already in for quite a 2019, with the music videos and YouTube
Yeah,
channel. Um,
yeah.
what else you have in store in 2019 that your fans can keep an eye on?
Um, I actually want to start developing a live show. I'm going to initially launch it uh, via Facebook live stream. Don't you love technology? So I'm going to figure out how to perform my album live from my studio initially, and start taking it on tour from my studio, via Facebook live streaming. And I might look into doing it on Instagram as well, and YouTube. Um, and yeah, kind of start getting comfortable performing live, because for a really long time now I haven't performed live. I've just been focusing on developing my skills in the studio. So I want to put my performing hat back on, start performing the album, and with a view to start getting some live shows in real venues, not just via Facebook streams. So yeah, there's that on the horizon. Um, and yeah, that's what I've got planned so far. I tend to work in 12-week cycles, so that's what I've got planned for the kind of next 3 months.
I definitely will keep an eye on the streaming aspect of your work.
Thanks.
I notice some people that I know here in America,
Hmm.
they try the streaming themselves, going Facebook Live or IG Live, and another way to connect with their audience and their fan base, especially those that are unable to go to the shows in person. And I feel like
Yeah,
with technology continue to evolve and giving artists and entertainers another way to connect with their fan base, and I find that very cool. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
definitely
It's awesome.
something. It's definitely the acoustic side of things and unplug, and that's incredible. So
Yeah.
I look forward to that. So for people that wants to learn more from your music or keeping track of what you have on the horizon, why don't you go ahead and promote your social media feeds, and where can people hear your music?
Yeah, sure. If people can head to my website, which is lizchirelli.com, and from there they can connect to me everywhere. If you search on Facebook for Liz Cirelli, I'll be there. I'm Liz_Cirelli on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, my YouTube channel is called Liz Cirelli as well. So if you just type Liz Cirelli YouTube on Google, you'll find me. But yeah, if you head to my website and scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, all of my social media channels are connected there, so you can just easily in one click find me rather than having to search through Google. So yeah, just head to lizchirelli.com, and there's a few freebies on there as well for anyone who wants to pay a visit.
Well, Liz, it was great chatting with you. Thank you
Really
so
lovely chatting with
much.
you,
I
Kenny.
know we've been trying to get this interview to happen for
We
for a
have.
couple of months,
Yeah.
and luckily I have a day off from work on a Friday. I noticed, like, you have your calendar and everything. You send it to
Yeah.
people, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna be at work by the time she on her availability. But luckily,
Oh,
but
you
luckily
you should have just let me know, and then we could have just put something in, like, off the books.
that would have been like extra late for you by the time I get off of work. So I was just like,
Yeah.
I'll just wait
Oh,
for I'll wait for an off day, and then luckily I had one. And I said, let
good.
me
Yeah.
let me get Liz on here, cause I don't know when the next time I'm gonna get it. So
Yeah. It's actually happened really perfectly, because today's the day of the launch of the first of the music videos. So it's tied in really, really nicely.
I like that. So with your last name, it's obviously people. It's easy for people to mispronounce per se. Does that frustrate you sometimes when people can't seem to get you?
No, not anymore. It used to when I was younger, but it's yeah, it's weird pronunciation. Unless you're Italian, you're not going to know how to pronounce it properly. So no, I've gotten used to it now. It doesn't bother me anymore.
So just as long as you get it right, at least the first or second time, then I think people gonna be alright.
Yeah.
So that's I get it. I've having to pronounce certain names. I'm like, okay, maybe if I don't overthink it too much, I just say it, and maybe think the response will be good.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly. Don't overthink it.
well, so go get her album Awakening. Her previous record is available on digital music platforms. Go check her out on social media feeds. She's gonna be on the YouTube. She's gonna be streaming, and who knows? She might have some new music down the road in 2019. Just gotta stay tuned.
Yeah. Oh,
So
for sure that's going to happen. Definitely. Yeah. And probably later in the year. Yeah, but absolutely.
So I want to thank everyone for listening. This is an interview courtesy of Chilling with Jeff and Kenny C. We on Saturdays from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern on tmvcafe.com. We on a bit of a hiatus due to some technical issues. So luckily I can do like interviews like this. So expect more interviews on the horizon. So for Liz, I'm Kenny. We are signing out. You all enjoy your day.